Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you'll remain standing for a moment, we have a moment of silence and recall that we lost a great warrior this past week in Bob Chapel. So I ask for a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. Welcome to our meeting. It's going to be a fun one. I promise. We're here to accomplish the business of schools for the sake of our students. We do want to hear from our citizens, and there's time for public comment prior to action items. On the agenda, we ask speakers identify themselves and their home district. We also ask that your comments are limited to 3 minutes in order to provide equity to all speakers and to ensure our meeting is reasonable and late. If you have more information that can be summarized in 3 minutes, please provide leave-behind materials for the board's review. The moderator will ask you to conclude your remarks as time has elapsed. If you have questions during this session, you may ask the clarification from your school board member or school administrator after the meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming. Can you hear me okay? All right, before we adopt the agenda, we're going to be modifying it to add item number 2.9 to the agenda, which will be to adopt a retirement resolution, which we have to do officially before it's a real thing in the board. So we're going to add that to 2.9. So is there a motion to adopt the agenda as modified? Who is that? Mr. Rubin? Mr. Grove? Mr. Grove made the motion. Second?
Second.
Second is Bonham. One more thing, and this is just a small point, but in 9.2, there is a motion that we'll be making under new business regarding the superintendent's contract. And it doesn't say that there's a motion, but there's a motion there. All right. All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, no. This will order a report from our student liaison. Can you make sure it's on, Scott?
Yeah, it's good.
Is it good? Can you tap it there?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, good.
Yeah, good.
All right, stay close.
So the baseball team just recently traveled to Chicago and they actually scored 17th out of 80, so that's pretty good. The senior banquet was last Sunday and they got to open the time capsules that they made in 8th grade, as well as letters that they got from their peers. The baccalaureate candlelight service will be held this Sunday, and if y'all were wondering, the cookie ladies will be there again for I think it's their 20th year or whatever. Tonight is the last home soccer game and also senior night. The yearbook committee is holding a Krispy Kreme fundraiser that will continue for the next few weeks, so if you want to buy any donuts, now's the time. SQL testing as well as AP testing this week, so I'm pretty busy with that. May 17th, we'll hold a special Pride Day event with Not for Ball. 23rd is the last day for seniors and the 30th for the other classes. And then that day there'll be the end of the year Pride Bash, so we play games with the clubs that we chose at the beginning of the year. And then the 29th, the 8th grade academy will hold its end of the year picnic with all peer mentors and 8th graders. There'll be ice cream, pizza, and then a magician. So, that's all.
That's plenty, Scholar.
Thank
Good
you.
job. Any questions for the student liaison, anybody? No? We're going to study the books. All right. Donations.
I have two to report. The first one is from Andrew Smith, donated drum set heads to the high school band. Kevin Stockdale donated $75 to the Scholastic Bowl team.
Right, and we'll approve those during consent agenda. We We have 3 sets of minutes, which we've had opportunity to review from March 12th, which were modified, April 9th and April 30th, special call meeting, which was a special call meeting for the superintendent's assessment that we had had. It was closed session only, no motions. So is there a motion to adopt the minutes or approve the minutes for these 3 meetings?
So moved.
So we have a motion from Ms. Bottom. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Grove. Is there any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Aye. Opposed, no? And so, moved. Mr. Grove, did you have a chance to review the bills?
I did, and everything's in order.
Thank you. All right, item 2.9. This evening, there is a resolution that we're planning on presenting. I guess the surprise element is done with this, right? So I need a motion to approve the retirement resolution for Patty Waddell.
So moved.
I have a motion from Mr. Rubin,
Second.
second from Mr. Grove. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Is there any opposition to the resolution? No. I guess
You've got to stay.
I guess we're gonna-
Patty.
You don't want her to
You've
I have to
gotta
let you go. Can't keep you, I guess. Right. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Uth. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Meyer. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. So moved. Madam.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'm going to ask Mrs. Patty Waddell to join us at the podium. If that'd be okay. Whew, okay, well, the mediocre teacher tells. Is this really on? It sounds really loud. Can you hear me? All right, I'm going to talk really loud. The mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates, and the great teacher inspires. Well, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are in the presence of greatness. Great teachers are the soul of our district and of our community that inspire our future generations. The Golden Apple Award is a new tradition that we'd like to begin, which signifies great educators who are retiring after having spent 30 or more years in service to Rappahannock County Schools. It is my pleasure and honor to begin this tradition with our very first recipient of the RCPS Golden Apple Award, Mrs. Patty Waddell.
Let's take a picture. Sure.
Now get me crying.
Speech.
Well, we got more. Hold on. One more
Hey,
thing.
hey, hey. For her. Yep. Patty, I'm going to read this. If you haven't seen, how many generations of the same families have you taught? I think I was hearing stories this past week about that, right?
Well, now I
But,
taught Mr. Rubin over there and his kids. Now I've taught Hood's kids, and I've taught your 4. So, and Molly.
That was the talk of the community. She taught how many people? How many years? And I said, I can't remember, 34 or 38 or I can't remember how many years. So I went to go read this to remember how many years. I'm going to read this to you so you people understand the magnitude of her contributions in a legal format. Right? I don't usually talk like this. The resolution honoring the service and dedication of the school teacher, Patty Waddell. Whereas Patty Waddell is retiring after 34 years of distinguished service as a teacher for Rappahannock County Public Schools, Washington, Virginia, and whereas in our complex and rapidly changing economy, teachers lay a foundation for success in developing students' creative thinking, collaboration, and communication skills, and whereas teachers through their service and mentors, coaches, club sponsors, model good citizenship and encourage students to contribute to their community, whereas Patty Waddell has dedicated countless hours to ensure her students' academic, social, and emotional well-being, and whereas she has strived to instill within her students a lifelong love of learning and encourage students to achieve their goals while recognizing that every student has unique strengths and weaknesses and needs. And whereas the knowledge and support and skills she has provided students will positively impact generations for years to come. And now, therefore, be it resolved, the Rappahannock County School Board recognizes Patty Waddell for her service to the students, parents, and community of Rappahannock County, Virginia. Be it further resolved, this expression of appreciation and gratitude be made a part of the permanent records of the county, and that a copy of the resolution be presented to Patty by the Rappahannock County School Board this evening. Thank you very much, Patty. God bless you.
I want to just say the reason I've stuck around for 34 years is I love the kids. I love the kids.
No doubt
And the
about it.
kids' kids.
It's okay, it's my part of the report, so I think I can do this, is just open up the floor for anyone who'd like to say anything for Mrs. Patty Waddell, if you'd like to. She's been here so long, and we just appreciate your service so much, and I know you never really taught me in the classroom that way, but you taught me in many other ways when I started out as a baby substitute teacher. And you did teach me quite a bit, and in fact, I was subbing, and I was pregnant for my first daughter, Lily, who's now 5th grader. And Patty made sure, with quite a few of you, actually in the science department, you guys are wonderful for hospitality, but made sure that I had a baby shower, even though I was just a substitute, and they, got me in and made sure I got the cute gifts and everything. I just thought that was so special, and you did that for me. So thank you. I consider you one of my teachers too.
Can I say one more thing? I've had a very good, supportive husband who has helped build the greenhouse, who's done so many things in my room to improve it. He even chaperoned a lot of my field trips. So he was behind me and very helpful all through the 34 years. From the very beginning when my tables were falling apart and he took them out and repaired them, till even recently. So he's been a very supportive husband.
Yay, husband.
Hey, you got a hand.
Well, I was hired in 2002 by the late Jack Raines, and I went through a couple interviews, and he never told me whether I had the job. But he said, you have to come to graduation and you have to meet Patty Waddell. See our kids and meet Patty. And that was the first day that I met her. It was on graduation day, and she was in charge of the National Honor Society at that time. And I thought, boy, what am I getting myself in for? But she has just been so supportive to me and to all of us over the years. At times it felt like she was being a slave driver sometimes. But she was always looking out for us just the same as she looked out for the kids. So we're going to have some pretty big shoes to fill here. We wish her the best in retirement.
I would say Patty was one of those teachers that, as an administrator, anytime you implement a new regulation or practice, you knew Patty was going to do it the way she was asked to do it, and you kind of knew if it was going to work, it worked, and then you knew it was a good thing because she would follow it to the T. And I would say every morning I would come in the hall, she was there, ready to go and ready to talk biology. She loves it. I really think, if there's if there's truth and you come back as somebody else, you're probably going to be a doctor. Because obviously I think you have a lot of ideas for cures out there now, but she truly loves, she has a passion for biology, and I think she relayed that to her students. It was awesome.
Patty serve as an example to all of us about going above and beyond for kids. She was the first one here in the morning, the last one to leave, and there wasn't anything that we could ask her to do for kids, and she would do it, or even do it on her own. She was always doing extra things, buying little things for kids in need, always very intuitive to their social emotional needs and their academic needs. Failure was never an option in her class. She would hunt you down until you passed and did your work literally. But that's what we need in teachers today. She's very supportive of the Pride program, always performed for the kids, always very giving of her time and her talent, and she's going to be sorely missed.
And as one of Miss Waddell's former students from back in the 90s, I have to say, first of all, you haven't aged a day. I don't know what your secret is, but when I
Conservative.
There's a little bottle behind this.
But another thing that really hasn't changed is your amazing energy and your huge heart. And having been one of your students, that is something that's really stuck with me over the years, was how much you really cared for me and all of my classmates. And we could really feel that you really wanted us to be successful and to really reach our potential. And so from the bottom of my heart, as your former student, thank you very much for all that you've done.
I'd like to add one thing. I first met Ms. Waddell at our farm before I had kids in school, and she's a very good ambassador for Rappahannock County Public Schools. I didn't have kids when I first met Mrs. Waddell, and she brought her teenagers to come and learn about the farm and tromp around and be enthusiastic about learning all the things about starting a little farming business in Rappahannock County. And that was a bold thing to do. I mean, to come with students into an unfamiliar place, and she embraced it. And by the second time I saw her, we would have a hug when she got off the bus with the kids. And she was just very. For people within the school, I feel like that was really special to me. It really showed sort of the heart of Rappahannock County schools. They really shone through in you taking your students on field trips at our farm. So thank you.
I never had the pleasure of being in Miss Waddell's classroom. I missed it by a few years. But I have had the pleasure of watching my own two biological children go through several of her classes, and all of the things that have been said about her being a taskmaster and following you and make sure you got things done, they're all true. And I will tell you that my two children appreciated every bit of it. They appreciated it then, which is rare, and they especially appreciate it now. I will also say there are so many things that I appreciate about Ms. Waddell, but probably the biggest one, last fall my briefcase took an unplanned swim in Urbana Creek, and within it was my computer, which had everything saved on it, all documents, that stuff that it's all gone. And so when I got back, meeting with my team, and I said, okay, well, we're going to have to recreate a lot of things. I've yet to have to recreate anything, because every time we came up for something, oh, we need this. Oh, well, I had it. Who's got it? Patty's got it. And she always had it. She saved everything, but more importantly than that, she knows where everything is. And one of my, she's been doing some cleaning for the last month or so. She brought tears to my eyes. She brought to me my son's handwritten letter when he was asking for her recommendation to go to governor's school. And those things like that Patty has done, I can't imagine. I don't know why her head isn't 10 times as big as it is to hold all of the wonderful memories that I know she must have from this place. So we're looking forward to enjoying the next, 13 days now? We got 13 days. 10 and a half. Not many of us are counting. But I'm also looking forward to seeing Patty enjoy her retirement, because as Mr. Tupper said earlier, I believe, usually by the time I leave this building, the only people here are the night custodians, but I cannot tell you how many times I have left this building and her light is still on in her classroom. As a matter of fact, that's something that both Mr. Tupper and myself got on her about. It's like, you got to stop doing that. You need to get home more. And I'm thankful that she's going to have that time, and she has her health, and she will make us all look forward to retirement. Thank you, Patty Waddell, for everything you've done for us.
That might be a nice thing if you all get her out of there, but I like her here because I can watch TV and catch don't get So that's one thing. My wife taught our kids, Serena, who was good grades. My son, I guess, was. But he did one good thing that I was really proud of, but she probably wouldn't have been, and somebody else took the blame for it. He put a tackle on her seat, right? And she didn't know about that. He was afraid to tell her until after. That wasn't probably.
He had been to 2 wars.
Two wars. I don't think he wanted to be blown up at it. If I heard about that, I thought that was, well, you're not supposed to think that's good, but I thought I was proud of my own son, you know what I mean?
Mary, you know Josh real well. Yeah.
He's kind of like me, I guess, to an extent. That's it. She goes, there was one other thing too. I don't know when it was she started, but she found out they were going to cheat on something, one of the tests. And she stayed till 7:30 to break a brand new test up, right? And she switched either the A's to the B's, B's to the C's, wherever she did. And that way she found out who was the one that cheated. Not as bad, is it?
This is so much fun. I'm just having, so back in the 70s, they used to do this thing called the roasts, right? Remember? That's kind of what I'm seeing, kind of the golden apple thing can kind of turn into the golden apple roast thing. Anyway, thank you, Patty, for everything. It's a great impact in a community that loves you and appreciates you. Yes, ma'am.
Sarah and I would just like to say together that it's been a pleasure. We're going to miss you.
I didn't know if it was going to happen.
I was kind of,
we didn't know
it wasn't.
We were close.
We didn't know. These two had a bet. She just paid him $1 this evening at dinner because
I didn't think it was going to happen.
Dave won the bet.
I don't know what we're going to do without you.
Seriously, it's all the help and support.
You taught us a lot.
We may still be calling you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Beth knows.
Yeah. We will be sending you our schedule next year when our planning is.
Yep. Yeah, speed dial with that.
I am keeping my teaching certificate up and haven't outruled subbing occasionally, but we'll see how that goes.
I want to get you to drive a bus fast.
Oh no. I'll leave that to him. He's a bus driver, not me. Not me.
I know, you can train him.
Yeah, no.
Okay. All right, so I think we'll just have a little recess for cake. If anybody wants to take off, you're welcome to take off. Cake. So, anyways, take a break and enjoy.
Thank you for your support, and thank you for this honor.
Love you,
Yeah, let's see cake.
I could say that somebody that did retire after 34 years, enjoy every minute of it.
Enjoy every minute of it. That's the advice.
It's
from
a good
another,
life.
34 years. All right. So we're back to your part of the agenda, aren't we?
Yes, sir. We're going to resume our agenda on 4.2, which is our emergency shelter plans. And we've invited our emergency services coordinator, Mr. Kevin Williams, to come and speak to you to update you on the progress of that. Because, as you know, our high school is designated as our emergency shelter for the community. But there were some things that were sort of problematic for that, so people want to come up to the podium and share with us the progress on these things.
All right, well, thank you for allowing me to come up, Dr. Grimsley, to speak on it. As you know, the high school was designated as, if you don't know, now you will, is designated as the county emergency shelter for if we had to do any evacuations from anywhere within the county. I've been on the job now for probably about a year and a half, and going through our emergency operations plan, one thing that concerned me is that we're showing that the school has a generator for if we lose power as being a shelter. The county does have a generator. It's a generator on a trailer, which is nice, but we have no way to hook it up to the school if we need it. So I would basically be opening the school up for a shelter and crossing my fingers that we didn't lose power. So within the past couple of months, the county has a contract with a couple of A&E firms to come in and look at the buildings and infrastructures of some of the county buildings. And we had them give us a proposal to come in and look at the high school, not only the high school, but the school board office. And I'll speak on that here in just a second. Basically see what it would take and how much it would cost to get the building ready to where allow me to put in for grants to where I know how much money we need. Right now, I have no idea of how much money we request on any grants to pursue getting a generator for the high school. I have, when we put in for the grants, they need to know all of that. So using this A&E firm through the county, I was able to secure a grant through Dominion Power for so much money to pay for these proposals, to try to see how much it would cost. And the proposals you have in front of you, they'll draw up the plans, the as-bills, and everything throughout the project if we were to move forward. So basically what I wanted to do was I met with Dr. Grimsley and Ms. Bolt about going ahead with these proposals for the county, make sure they were fine with it. Again, the county is paying for it through the grant that we have. The grant won't cover all of it, but I do have other funds in my budget for emergency management to cover. So the first thing would be to bring the company in. They will look at the school. If you look at the proposal for the school, they talk about a trailer-mounted generator. They're referring to the one that the county currently has, but that wouldn't do what we would like to do here. My goal as emergency manager for the county is if we had to open up a shelter here, it would be basically using the gymnasium, auditorium, cafeteria area, and the kitchen area. So basically that's one whole corridor there. I'd love to be able to pursue to get a generator to back up the whole school, but I won't know until we dive into it what I can get on grants and everything. But right now we haven't been able to put in for them because we don't know. It's always what I've said quite a bit since I came into the job is the can's been kicked down the road quite a bit of times. So now we're trying to move forward and get something in play where we can pursue those grants. So that would be for the high school. I've talked about the generator that the county has that's on a trailer that basically sits there. The plan I have for that, and you see the other proposal in there for the school board office, is right now if we lose power and we're without power for so many days, the county deputies, fire and rescue, or anybody, if they needed fuel, they would have to go out of the county and try to find a place that has power to get it, or we have to bring in a truck to help make sure they have fuel. I'm trying to propose have the company come in and look at taking that generator and hooking it up to the school board office to where the school board would have full generator backup, fuel pumps would work during emergencies. And also with that, right now, if something happened on Main Street in Washington where we couldn't use any of those buildings for a command center during a weather event and everything, with the school board having full generator backup, coming in and using the conference room there to be able to continue operations. So those are the two proposals that we have. That will allow me to be able to seek, like I said, grants and everything to try to get some money in here, because the grants are there. Counties all around us are taking advantage of them and everything, getting them. Madison just got one for a grant within the past year. So I think it's time for us to really start pushing for them, and this is the first step. And there's no cost to it.
Any questions?
Kevin, why have we only looked at the high school? It appears to me the high school is put together in about 10 different years, and the electricity goes everywhere in this building. The elementary school appears to have one main section, one main take for electricity?
So the one thing by using the high school is like we use the corridor that I've talked about, like the gymnasium area, the auditorium and everything.
Right.
You have locker rooms there. So if we're open up a shelter for 3 or 4 days, we have the locker rooms that have showers, they have all the things there that we need.
So you would need a generator that would run heat, air, hot water, the whole 9
Yes,
yards. So it'd be a whole lot more than the 38 kW that's the trail.
Yes, sir.
And then on that proposal, it said for a manual switch. Don't you think you ought to be looking at an automatic switch?
Yes, it will be looked at as a automatic. Where they talk about in there is manual. They're basically doing the cost comparison. And in one of them, they talk about shedding the load. In other words, trying to get a whole getting the whole building set up for a generator, but a smaller generator. We all know that we have an emergency and trying to go through flipping breakers and everything.
Yeah.
So when we take them around, it's going to be to where everything will be in place for that corridor of the school, to whether it's a generator that we have on a trailer with a company until we can get a grant for installing one at the school. We'll basically just plug in and the switch will be flipped, or we get the grant and we put one out where it automatically kicks itself over.
Wouldn't it make sense, though, economically, to go ahead and get a grant for an automatic switch? You could use that with a plug-in. You would just switch and then you turn the generator on later.
The grant that I'm using for this was supposed to be for that, and basically what happened was we were going to lose the funds because we didn't have any plans in place as far as what we needed to hook up to, no drawings, no cost figures or anything. So basically it came back to use this money to get the drawings done, get the plans
Get the
done.
engineering grant, right?
Yeah, there's other, I think it's hard to hear you do that without the noise.
Okay, is that done?
I don't know that it's much better, but it's not better. Thank you. Speak loud.
Okay, I was just thinking in the future. You know, if you put in a manual switch, and then you have to come back and replace that manual switch with an automatic switch, that seems to me where the county's paying twice what they should be paying.
Well, we don't know what we're going to be doing. The proposal is having them come and look to tell us.
But that's still an option.
It's still an option, and the reason that it will be drawn up as manual or automatic would depend on how much money we will get from the grant. We may get enough money to pay to set the whole school up for a manual, or we may get the full amount of money to where we can get the full package to where the generator's here, power goes out, it cuts on. But they have to give us the proposal. If I apply for a grant, it's going to be the whole package.
Good.
But they may come back and say, instead of you getting X amount of money, you're going to only get 80% of it. And then if the county comes back and says, well, we don't have nothing to come up with the other 20%, then that's when we kick it back. Have to look at the manual. Automatic is the way we want to go.
Yeah, when I read it, all the talk about was manual. I said, that doesn't make no sense.
Yeah. Now, when they come out, we're going to get the proposal for the whole package. As far as automatic, manual, everything. And one good thing about this company, if we do get the grant and we're going through the work and everything, they also work with the contractor to come out, go over the punch list, everything. So all that's included.
But heat and air is also included.
Yes, when they come out, they're going to, basically what will happen is myself and Ms. Bolt and whoever else will be walking around so we can tell them, this is what we need on this area of the building, I need this for us to be able to use it as a shelter.
Have you, so as far as the grant applications go, is there any part of that grant that speaks to the recurring costs of maintaining, like the generator? We have the same thing at work, and what I've noticed is, they have to be tested. The circuitry, the generator has to be run routinely, it has to be maintained routinely, and those costs are going to come out of somebody's pocket.
If this is deemed emergency shelter, and I get a grant to put in the generator here, that cost will come out of my budget.
And the recurring costs will be part
The
of that plan.
recurring cost will come out of that as well, because now if it was a whole generator prior to school, for while the kids were in
Mhm.
school and everything, yeah, we'd be talking as far as sharing or something, but with it just mainly being focused as making emergency shelter, it's comes back
You looking at diesel or gas?
on. But we'll see what the company tells us. But that's all in their hands as far as whether it goes propane, go diesel. If I had my choice, it'd be propane.
And I listen to what Mr. Williams tells me that our company is very good at getting our emergency plans in order and following correct procedures. And I know our plans have been better than they've ever have been with his help and the crisis management team and updating those plans. So we appreciate your help.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
It's working.
Just happy to see progress.
Looks good too, though.
Okay, the next item on the agenda, 4.3, is the non-resident tuition regulation that I'd like to take a look at. Now, a regulation is usually the superintendent's reg on how we're going to enact a policy that's in place. And we do have non-resident admission policy, and we do have a regulation. And basically the part that I wanted to talk to you about is a proposal that I've had after speaking with the administrative team and also some teachers and parents and things. As you know, our enrollment has been decreasing quite a bit over the past 10 years. And I get constant questions about, well, I work in the county, I'm not in the government or the school, but I would be really great help if I could bring my kids here, if they work at the bank or RapU or somewhere else, you know. And we looked up policy and things, and there's nothing that says we can't do that. Also, another question we get a lot is, well, I pay taxes, I own land or property, can I bring my kids there? Because there's a lot of people that would love to bring their children to Rappahannock and just can't because of the residency piece of it. And it is a local agency decision on whether or not to accept non-resident enrollment, as long as funding is available, slots in the enrollment in those grade levels is available, and those things. So as you know, with our enrollment the way it is, we do have some room. Every person who would like to seek non-resident tuition waivers would have to do through an application status. So we do have to review those applications, and it would fall under the same category. And there's a form for that we've modified just a little bit, but basically no discipline issues. They have to
Be in good standing.
good standing, those types of things, nothing that follows that way. If you work in the county 30 hours or more a week, that's sort of a full-time designation over that, just is what we put in there. So I'd like to enact this for next year and get it out there if you're okay, if I have consensus. I don't need a board vote, it is a superintendent regulation. But I'd like to try this, and I think it would be really well received, and I've gotten a lot of calls about it already as we've been asking.
So did you find this from, like, was this something that this sort of other schools have similar language?
Every school has some type of a non-resident admission regulation on how they'll review waivers, and the superintendent can waive any tuition for whatever reason. There's other fees we assess if there's special needs or things that may cost the division in excess of the ADM revenue that you get from the state, and that would be assessed case by case depending on the child. So those things we can assess separately, and on the form that they would fill out, you can see at the bottom what the cost formulas we use, how it's determined and all of that. So each application would be individual, case by case. But we could open it up. You may be eligible for a tuition waiver if you meet these criteria, just like our government employees can do now and our school employees. Same thing, just extending it for the whole county. Just an idea to maybe get our enrollment numbers up a little bit and give us some additional students and families invested in our schools, and also additional revenue from the state. Would be helpful.
I hate this, but has anybody checked with DHSL?
That's in here too.
Is that in there? I didn't see that.
Yes, sir. There's a VHSL rule in here that's explained in the policy that we give to people as they sign up for. Yeah, the 1 year rule. It's in here, so they're notified of that too. Yeah.
It's item 4.
It's on the form itself. Yeah.
Oh, it's on the form.
VHSL number 4, yeah, 4 speaks to VHSL.
So, and you know, there's going to be a lot of situations that are going to have to be assessed.
Yes.
Right? And so, you know, the student to Clark County doesn't get into governor's school, but if they come here, because you know, do we get to see the governor's school? What do they pay? You know, that kind of all of those that's going to be a lot to manage. That's the only concern I have is that it's not flat anymore. I understand the motivation. It's just going to be an administrative challenge.
I think that because of the way our county's borders are, there are a lot of people who feel like they live in Rappahannock, but aren't in the county technically, and I do know families who would like the opportunity to be part of the school.
Just a thought, but I'd like to try it and see. I'm sure we'll work out some kinks as we go, but there's nothing to say that we can, and I already know several families who will be thrilled to be able to apply to bring their children here, and we need kids.
Will they raise attendance?
Yeah.
ADM.
ADM, then, yes.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we'll get that out and start advertising and sending it to our families. The next item.
Would you
Sorry.
mind coming back in June, July, or whatever, and just kind of give us an update on that?
Sure.
On how it is?
Oh, yes, absolutely. 4.4, the LFCC Ed Consortium. Every year I give you the catalog for those course offerings. Do they have those?
Yep, we have it.
We got it. Excellent. They're on here, so you can see it. Now, basically, this is the consortium we joined several years ago. It's made possible by our collaboration with our private schools in the county. We receive federal funds that we set aside monies in collaboration through meaningful consultation. We figure out ways that private schools may have access to some of those federal funds. And that's a mandate, that's a federal mandate. But through the meaningful consultation process, it was found out that Wakefield Country Day School, you know, usually takes the bulk of the set-aside money, while our smaller independent schools really get just a small amount of set-aside. So the consortium came up as an option where we could pool all our funds together and then provide high-quality professional development for all of our teachers, the schools and all the independent schools, and that's the we have an agreement to do that. So they have no other funds or access to the funds, but this is what it goes toward, and we all access the national speakers, and it's a pretty incredible list every year that we get to partake in. So that is available for all teachers, no cost to them to earn their professional development points over the summer. And that's available for board members too, if you're interested in attending any of those.
This
Yes, Trauma Informed, that's a big one that I will be going to, definitely. Just, if you're interested, please contact me and I can register you for the course. Yes, so lots of great things.
So we can
no
go through it
cost.
and we can go.
You can go, just let me know.
I'm gonna do the paper folding.
Yeah, there's lots of
Paper
Rachel's going to
folding
everything.
math
I'm going to everything. You will. So I just wanted to offer that to you as well.
No, seriously. Origami.
Okay.
Cool. This is really neat.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Good sessions. Okay, if there's no questions, I'll move right along. 4.5, our budget update. As you know, last week at the Board of Supervisors meeting, they did unanimously vote, the supervisors did, to restore $50,000 back into our budget. So we are thrilled that they did that because we were really panicking on how we would find $75,000 to do everything we need to do. We had to do the 4% increases for our staff. It was time. We have to do more. That's just the starting point. We'll be doing a lot more. And then the social worker as well. That's something we definitely had to do. The more incidences of trauma and the opioid addiction and other things we're seeing in our community that we need to help with and support our families. So we will ask this as an action item to approve our new bottom line of $13,156,908. It's a great budget, and it's a great budget for kids and staff, so I'm thrilled.
Be able to pull everything off if we wanted to.
We pulled it off. The new budget has moved around a little bit in instruction, in the instruction category, that's where the bulk of our budget is anyway, where it should be. So, working around rebudgeting vacancies and stipends and readjusting for benefits and things, we were able to squeeze a little bit. So that's where we are. It's going to be a very tight budget, but we'll manage.
So you found it in that instruction category?
Yes. Yes, that's where it came
You've always been this lapse in turnover.
from. Yeah, lapse and turnover, and you never know. There's a lot of ifs in the budget anyway. Okay,
All right, thanks.
that concludes the superintendent reports.
Thank you very much. Moving on to reports of the board. Headquarters representative.
That was me
That was you this time.
this time. I went, which is the first step. It was brief, thankfully for me. They were encouraging everybody to go to the Board of Supervisors meeting. And then they were proceeded to talk about the futures account and the savings and what they were going to do and what not. And that was it, and I got to leave.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was a good one. That's it.
MVGS.
Mine was better, we didn't meet.
Pretty short report.
I didn't even have to get out of, get up at 6 in the morning to go there.
All right, moving on. I can't remember, it was 2 months ago, we had made a decision as a board regarding the BSBA Business Honor Roll and the recipient for that, and now everything's gone through BSBA and official. And at this time, we will present to John Janot of Eldon Farms. I guess there's a letter.
At the podium.
Is it over at the podium? Can you
Join
come up,
me.
please? Great. All right, this reads, the Rappahannock County School Board expresses appreciation for your ongoing support of this community's public schools. Your work has aided this community in focusing on the goal of providing the best public schools we can for every child who attends them. Thank you very much. Let me move over.
She's always doing this.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, in a small community, it's important when businesses and farms and people are pitching in to make us successful. So we got to make sure we recognize such things. Appreciate it. We appreciate that. Thank you. All right, moving on to public comments. Does everybody like to address the board this evening? Anybody? We have one, Kevin. Rise and shine.
Scared you, didn't
You already took your turn, right?
Hello, I'm Kevin Brager. I'm from the Wakefield District, and I'm also the Executive Director of Headwaters. I just wanted to come up and say, tell you briefly about the summer course that is coming up again this year, June 17th to the 29th. It's going to be held again at Rappahannock County Elementary School. Thank you very much to the school board, the schools, and Mr. Temple for hosting us again this year. We really appreciate it. It's going to culminate in, again, a concert for the community at Castleton at the end of the session. Thank you to Castleton for allowing us to do that. It's a wonderful place to be having a concert. We were absolutely thrilled to be able to do that again this year. For the third straight year, we have students who, going into grades 5 through 12, who are going to be joining us in the senior course, and we're happy that they're going to be doing again this year. But this year, we are going in two different directions. We are inviting younger students, grades 2 through 4, so that they'll have their own section. They'll begin to start learning how to do, sing well and sing music, and get the idea of singing concepts, building on what they're already learning in the elementary school. It's fabulous right now, but let's give them a little more time during the summer mark too. And we figured we can't just do it for the younger kids, we need to do it for the school. So this year we're going to be inviting adults from the community to join us as well. We're going to be doing about 1 or 2 songs that adults who would like to join us become part of it. And we'll, if you want to do it, please let me know, and we'll let you know when rehearsals will be scheduled. Just remember, you need to bring your A game because these kids are really good. These are great kids. So,
There you go, Patty.
the one thing I'd love
There you go, Patty.
That's what we were just saying.
There we go. All right. All right.
It's something to do in the summer.
This will be wonderful.
You can almost have
One of the great things I've enjoyed about this, and I just wanted to mention it, I've gotten a lot of responses from students and families outside of Rappahannock who want to be part of this sort of thing, which is really exciting for me because it's just one more thing that Rappahannock is doing so well. Sometimes people don't hear about it. They say, we're a small community, whatever. But we do so many great things here, including Commit to Be Fit, summer course, all the great things that we do, and sometimes we don't even get to mention it, but this is a great community for us to be living in, and I'm absolutely thrilled and pleased to be a part of it, and glad that we're going to be able to do summer course again this year. Finally, I just wanted to congratulate Dr. Grimsley and the school board and everyone in the school for the approval of the budget. Not so much the money that was approved, but sitting in the public hearing, person after person after person coming up and saying how wonderful these schools are. And everything that was said, I couldn't agree with any more than the speaker said it. This community really loves its schools, and that's a great thing. And,
it was very encouraging.
I'm sorry?
It was very encouraging.
It was very encouraging, and if you've got nothing else from it, you know how much this community really loves our schools and we love the work that you're doing. So thank you all for the work that you do.
Thank you, Kevin. Is there anyone else this evening? All right. Nope. Are you coming?
Well,
He's
do I
coming.
have to go over there?
It would
I just
be
wanted
great.
to-
That way you're on camera.
Okay.
We have video evidence.
I'm Dave Naser, teacher at the high school and the coach of the Scholastic Bowl team. And I would just like to thank the school board and the administration for their support of our team this year. Without the support of the board and Headwaters and the Lions Club and the parents and teachers, we would not have been able to participate in this tournament in Chicago. And the kids were really excited and they want to do it again next year. So we just need to start planning a little bit early. Thanks again.
Thank you. That event that you had that I was invited to, where I got to be on some team, like the Parents of Smart Kids or something like that, they called it, right? That was very humbling. So I only knew the answer to 2 questions, which I got right the whole evening, and but very humbling thing. And I think the students, what did the students wrote the questions that we were doing?
Yeah.
Right. And of course, my team didn't win, but we
Answered two
we beat several other teams, and I answered 2 questions correctly. Which,
Well, it's hard to get all of them,
well, I was happy to contribute at all. I was scared most of the time.
We've appreciated the support of the community over the many years.
It's a great program. Appreciate you doing that. All right, anyone else? All right, moving on. Is there a motion from the board? The next item is approval of the budget change. So we need a motion from the board to approve a final budget of $13,156,908. Is there a motion? We have a motion, Mr. Rubin. Is there a second? Second, Mr. Grove. Is there any discussion? I think I have some discussion.
Yeah.
I appreciate that this was wrangled over and decided, and I appreciate everything the citizens do for the schools. And it shows this time of year especially. There was great support, and we'll promise to be good stewards of what we've been given to manage. And that's my discussion. Thank you to the supervisors. Thank you to the community.
And I just appreciate the process of including the social worker just at the right time. really think that it was a lot of listening happened and a lot of educating of the community happened, and not just, I mean, I think of myself and all of us, and I think that it was, as a school board, we're about education, and we were about teaching ourselves how to respond to a changing world, and hopefully preparing our students for a world that will be changing even more than we can imagine during their lifetimes. So hopefully people can see a model of learning that happened and a model of respectful communication that we can go forward with.
Yeah, that was definitely seen through that process, I think.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, the fact that it was a process in itself, and it was an open and honest process, makes all the difference in the world. A lot of things don't happen that way in other places. Appreciate it.
We have a motion on the floor. All in favor of the motion, let them know saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. So ordered. New business. Did you just want to mention that next month we're going to have more information?
Yeah. I would like to mention that that there's I've been mentioning to the board a project that's been worked on by Rappahannock, a group whose board I also serve on. We're going to be investing a great deal of private money in the schools, in the elementary school, the courtyard. A lot of it is towards the unfunded mandates in our that we've talked about before in our profile of a graduate. What we have to do that we don't get state money from, and we've been able to through the education of Dr. Grimsley and everyone about what the school's needs are. We've been able to come up with a plan and come up with a convincing way to get some money to come into our school from some donors who care a lot about preparing our students again for a future. So just wanted to mention that there'll be details next time, but I do have some information if any board member would like to have anything to take home and look over. So.
Is there any other new business? Any other board member wants to share tonight? Okay, we're going to be taking a motion now. It's a roll call vote regarding the superintendent's contract. So Shannon, Dr. Grimsley has been with us for 2 years, come June 30. And this board has unanimously decided that they would like to renew her contract for a 4-year period starting July the 1st. And so the signing that we're about to do, the vote that we're about to take, has everything to do with initiating a new 4-year period, which starts July the 1st of this year through 2023. So that's what's happening right now. We're going to have a roll call vote on the motion to not renew the contract, but instantiate a new contract effective July the 1st, 2019. You have the motion?
I move. Proud too. In recognition of Dr. Grimsley's outstanding performance and with her concurrence, the board terminate her current appointment and employment effective June 30, 2019, and concurrently appoint and employ Dr. Grimsley for a new term of 4 years as Division Superintendent beginning July 1, 2019, and ending July 30, 2023. And that we direct the chair to execute the contract on behalf of the board. And this needs to be a roll call vote.
I believe the end date was June 30th.
June 30th.
June 30th.
Yeah, June
2023. You want to start us off, Chris?
Aye.
Aye. Peter Subin, aye.
Larry Grove, aye.
Rachel Bynum, aye.
Wesley Mills, aye.
Lucianne Meyer, aye.
Motion carries. So, here's what we're going to do. So, just go right here. Can you come around here with me?
Me?
Yes, you. Yes, you. If you have a pen that's nicer than the one.
Yeah, I just gave her one.
Okay. So we have 2 copies of this. And I think one's for you and one's for
Here's the motion, just so she can take it home.
It's done. Congratulations. Thank you so much. All right. We did it.
Shannon, we just want to make sure we saw it in writing. Now it's sleep time.
It's official.
Stick around to make sure.
Yeah, really.
Okay. Hey, good to see you all. Have a great night.
See you, John.
Okay, the next regularly scheduled board meeting is June the 11th at 6:30 p.m. in the same place always. At this time, we're going to have a motion to go into closed session. During closed session, we'll be personnel. We'll be doing the debrief of the superintendent's annual assessment, and we'll be back in how long? How long, Carol, do you estimate? 15 minutes. We'll be back in 15 minutes.
I move the board convene a closed session for the following purpose: discuss and consider the appointment of staff members for a classified and coaching position and discuss the superintendent's evaluation pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A1.
We have a motion from Mr. Groves. Is there a second?
Aye.
We have a second. He's already voting. Second, Mr. Root. Can you give me a second, Mr. Root? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, no. Order, we're in closed session. So you can grab the door on the way out, and we'll tell you as soon as we're done, unless you disappear. I have the form. I'm good, and I'll give it to Shannon.
Okay.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Yeah.
Thank you for signing, Shannon.